awful to feel. I think. Every spray, every time. I had one once that was like a gentle mist, and I didn't flinch. And then it broke and it started squirting in the eyeball again, and I don't like it.
Oh, I close your eyes.
I never thought of that.
You push it out.
Yeah. He wasn't mad about it. I have no idea.
I can hear it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to an all-new episode of SCNS Live, this super cool nerd show. Thank you for joining us out there in the super cool nerd nation for another week of nerds, news, and some news I'm probably just going to lose my mind. Let me temper myself now, because I am Jason the X. I don't do this show by myself. Over there is Kat.
You're doing it by yourself this week.
Sorry about you.
I'm not sure where she's going, but over there's Cass.
My name's Cass.
Nice earrings, they match your shirt.
Thank you.
And over there, twisting knobs, making everything look pretty and whatnot. It's Cora.
Hi, I figured out the sound issue.
Well, what was it?
I muted the wrong mic, so I muted something that didn't have any plug into it, and one of these mics was left on.
As we call it, a very precise technical production issue.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you found that, but yes, everything does sound good. If you notice something in the chat, just go ahead and let us know. So I can now stop the echo in my
If you notice
brain.
anything in the chat.
Anything at all.
Anything at all. Your
Do you not like
earrings
Cat's
match your
makeup?
shirt.
It's okay, let me turn this down now because it's so weird hearing the delay of my voice. Anyway, yeah, we had a banger show last week. If you get a chance, go back and look at our special guest, Darren Tech Force Columbus. His dream of arcade, which arcadehop.net is now live, by the way.
Hey.
That's awesome. I
Yay.
have a special request for you.
Okay.
The next time you bring in a Christopher Judge looking, tall, good looking man, I need him to be single.
Seriously.
His voice is a little too melodic. He's a
I
little
mean,
too
the
charming.
man is a music.
to have a
He really
fiance.
is.
And an
I'm just
absolute,
saying.
like, just gem of a human being.
Isn't he?
Oh,
though?
yeah.
Gorgeous
And not
and
just
wonderful.
A man, in fact.
Like-
anytime you bring anybody who's good looking, melodic, on the taller
I'm
side,
surprised he doesn't
pick
have his
me up.
own podcast. The man has a voice that is just made
Seriously.
for talking to people.
Yeah.
Awesome. But yeah, go check out arcadehop.net is now live, and I'm going to have a surprise for him by the end of the show.
That's
So,
freaking awesome. It was very great to have him on the show.
it was awesome to have him, and we're definitely going to have him again in the future. But anyway,
Even if he has a loving and supportive fiance.
wow.
Who I look forward to meeting. She sounds great.
She's very
honestly.
nice.
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure
Yes.
of meeting her before.
No hate.
She's a
just
gem.
Good catch is all.
Absolutely. But yeah, he'll definitely come back on the show. Just a great time talking with him.
For sure.
Go check out that interview. That's up on the channel, of course, with all the other clips from the week and whatnot.
A lot of good discussion last week.
So anyway, yeah, it's been a good week for us. We had us a little pool party last weekend.
We
It
did.
was so much fun.
Yeah, I am.
Folk get to swim.
I am so happy that my wife stepped in to make that that better.
Me too.
Because
I was hungry.
the look I got from her, she was like, "Isn't everybody coming by for a pool party?" I was like, "Yeah." Where's the food? I was like, "What? You're not gonna get anything for?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting something for the pool."
You live in Texas, man. Like, you throw a party,
honestly-
there has to be food there.
Becky like took over and
Also-
she was like, we're gonna do some food. So she like
Yeah.
made some food, cooked up some potato salad.
We had Wagyu beef burgers
Yeah,
with
those-
bacon.
Wait, those were Wagyu? Is that why they were
Yeah,
so
that's
good?
why they were firing up so much, because they were very fatty. It's very fatty beef.
We had all the fixins. We had potato salad. We had deviled eggs. We had plum pudding that I forgot to eat.
Yeah. No, we ended up not making. We ended up just eating the plums later. But yeah,
I did
my
plums.
wife did a damn fine job with that. But of course, we were having it because we were having all of our D&D crew over to talk about our upcoming game, which those are coming back in just a little
week.
over 1 week time now.
Like 10 days.
Yes, it's going to be
So
awesome.
excited.
Go get caught up on all the adventures, especially if you're somebody out there that just told me, like, they got caught up in everything, like, where's the new stuff? So,
Something I haven't told you guys, except for Cass, I will have like a 5-minute recap that we can roll before, both for you guys to see just because it's fun. I'm doing it kind of by myself, but also for anybody who hasn't caught up will at least have some context.
Yeah.
Okay.
but yeah, so make sure you watch for some brand new D&D adventures. I'm so excited to roll dice again. I cannot wait. I got my roller crit bag over there with all my stuff ready to go. Let's do this thing.
Yeah, I got my new dice that need broken in.
Yes, our new dice. I feel like I need a top hat and a monocle. My new dice. I don't get those.
I plan to run such banger sessions that you guys will start a Kickstarter for me to get the dice I want. A Kickstarter, you know,
Yeah.
and with like a 5-year timeline. They're not that bad. They are in the 3 figures. They'd be in my first 3-figure set of dice. But they're so pretty.
But yeah, just giving y'all a heads up, it's going to be exciting. Anyway, I think we are ready to roll. Let's kick this thing off with some super cool nerd news. Well, it is a time where the internet can be a useful tool or a deadly weapon in some cases. Enough that now the government has said, we're going to step in and do something about it. The FTC announced on August 15th that they will now be upping their potential penalties for people. Not, first off, if you think the FTC is going to come chase you down in your basement for your review bomb of some other movie out there, that's not going to happen. So stop right there. The government's not coming to your house because you wrote a shitty review about something that you maybe hadn't seen yet. But what they will be cracking down on are reviews that are written up for profit, reviews that are written by AI, and also linking social media accounts or bots to downplay or push certain reviews. This was announced on the 15th, and now that it has been announced, the FTC will be going through with this. This is going to happen in 60 days is when this is going to start being enforced.
Quick.
Now, this is something that we've actually had to deal with on the show where people have offered to pay us to review something that we may not necessarily agree with, we may not necessarily want, and it might be necessarily a bunch of crap. And I like to think that we have said, no, we're not going to go that route because
We have.
I
We've flat out
I
said
believe with
no.
anything like that, you have a limited amount of time before you are found out. So a lot of this was generated because they are seeing a lot of review bombing, not so much from people who are just like, they just want to crap all over it, but they see this as an opportunity to maybe drive attention to something that they're working on. So then they can write an AI-generated review, like in the case of, I'm going to go ahead and say it, a recent show by Disney, The Acolyte. There were people in there that wrote genuine reviews that said, oh, we don't agree with this, we're not going to watch it or whatever. But there were people that piggybacked on that because it was an opportunity for them to get noticed and, you know, to drive traffic to their site. But instead of writing a general review, they were just taking all of them and getting an AI-generated one. Well, that's going to come to an end now. They were clearly able to identify the markers that this review was generated by some sort of artificial intelligence and may not necessarily have been the views of the agency that was reporting on it. I know a lot of people are kind of like, why is the government stepping through on this? Well, this is the Federal Trade Commission. This is what they do. If there's some type of unfair practice against a business, this is their job to step in and do something about it. And this counts. This counts big time.
If
This is-
we're
oh, yeah.
going to be a capitalist society, we actually do need this because you have the largest companies who are able to manipulate the system to do anything they want. Capitalism is supposed to be about the best ideas winning. And it's not indie influencers
No.
who are driving this. It is large corporations who can trash things and manipulate. We actually do need a trade commission. And they need to not be toothless, which the FTC has largely been for a long time.
And Lena Khan, who is the FTC chair, did release a statement. Fake reviews not only waste people's time and money, but also pollute the market and divert business away from honest competitors. By strengthening the FTC's toolkit to fight deceptive advertising, the final rule will protect Americans from getting cheated, put businesses that unlawfully game the system on notice, and promote markets that are fair, honest, and competitive. So you're still okay to write your shitty review.
You're okay to have an opinion, even if it's a bad one.
Yeah.
You can have it. That's totally fine. They're cracking down on like sneaky tactics that blow
Market
up one
manipulation.
person's opinion.
And the
to
main
manipulate market.
portion of that is just people like seeing, oh, well, there's a lot of people that the scales are shifting towards, oh, this many people don't like something. This can go good or bad. They're just looking for more attention.
Yeah.
And that's what the FTC is looking to recognize and stop. So good luck with that. It's about time that someone within some sort of power did something to stop that. And it's like if you work hard on something, you have a business, you don't want phony reviews out there. So this is the FTC's job. Enjoy it, and about 45 days now, this is going to go into effect.
And this show supports actors, supports creators, supports directors, supports production, supports indie films. All of this is 100% in line with this. No actor deserves to have their work trashed, no director, no producer, etc. Their work trashed by a robot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good news.
And also anybody out there that accepts money to write fake reviews on stuff.
We're coming for you. We earn our $7 the old-fashioned way.
Could have more money for toys and booze if I'd gone quicker.
Yeah.
But no, we're going to be honest. Anyway.
It sucks.
Be honest about our
right
stupid
ways.
opinions.
Yeah. And it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks, to be honest. There's a lot.
We're
of
trying
shortcuts.
to be good people, but
We're trying.
Yeah.
We make it at least 40% on the average day towards being a good
about
person.
time FTC did something. Anyway,
Sure.
I think that's a perfect lead-in.
Yeah. Speaking of the Acolyte, it was announced a couple of days ago that the Acolyte will not have a season 2. We will never know what, in general, people thought of this TV show, partially because of review bombs. A lot of them were from individuals who were really mad that a black woman was the lead in a Star Wars
And she had black hair.
TV show. She also had her natural hair in a protective style, which they got really pissed about. I am not going to be an Acolyte apologist over here. It was rough in a lot of ways. A lot of the plots were awkward. The dialogue was really awkward. It leaned a little bit too heavy into a trope that I've been saying a lot lately that I don't necessarily appreciate, which is we want a morally gray thing, so we're just going to make everybody the good guy, and whoopsie doopsie, I did a thing accidentally, and so I'm seen as the bad guy by some people. I don't necessarily love that trope. That being said, this was an opportunity to kind of get away from the Skywalker saga. It is, I think I'm correct here, it is the only live-action Star Wars property to not have a direct link through characters to the Skywalker saga. It could have been really interesting, and here's where I am upset about this decision. I believe it still could have been had it been allowed to continue. It had some really, really rough plot elements, but it had some really promising characters. I'm thinking particularly of Manny Jacinto's character. It doesn't hurt that he's an 11.5 out of 10. He's so gorgeous, but also like very nuanced performance in a TV show that was filled with a lot of really awkward performances. Manny Jacinto,
So natural.
yeah. And this was a big marketing selling point. This was a show that a man learned English so that he could be in this show, and I thought it was amazing.
Not Manny Jacinto.
Not Manny Jacinto. Manny Jacinto speaks English. But yeah, it had some really promising plot elements. It didn't get there. And one more thing. This TV show of 8 episodes, about 35 minutes apiece, had a budget of $180 million. That is around $600,000 per minute of the TV show.
This outdoes
That's the
minute-to-minute Game of Thrones.
Outdoes the season 8 of Game of Thrones. The
Most expensive.
the most expensive and the most
Ill-advised.
popular show maybe that's ever been on television. This was a more expensive piece of television to make, and I'm like, my guy, lower your budget a little bit. You clearly weren't using it based on your gaffing.
Gaffing is lighting.
Gaffing is lighting, especially
with this.
the
Okay.
marketing scenes were really flat looking. Your CGI was mostly pretty good, but like, maybe lower your budget a little bit on something that you don't know if it's going to work out.
And give your writers more than a gift card to Dave & Buster's to do revisions and more
And
than
a
a week
week
to
and a
do
half.
them.
Yeah, and a week and a half to write your scripts.
I'm sorry that there's more on this, Jason. A full half of our show works professionally in video production. So there's gonna be some noise.
That being said, the show could have gone somewhere. It could have been really interesting, and it's never going to.
And it had Manny Jacinto
It had Manny Jacinto
Who
in it,
left.
who's amazing.
to go do Freakier Friday,
He did go for your Friday,
Dang.
and I'm excited.
which wrapped yesterday.
Did it?
Mhm.
Amazing.
Jamie Lee Curtis posted a no makeup selfie of her. She's been crying all day. It's just
Aw.
so cute and wholesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it
Lower
live.
your budgets a little bit when you're taking a chance on a TV show. Maybe give it some time. There are plenty of really, really wonderful shows whose first season was a little rough.
Yeah.
Give your shows a second chance.
A lot of people's favorite shows, people love Community. Season 1 of Community's rough. Season 1 of
Aw.
Scrubs is rough. Season 1 of
MASH.
is unwatchable. A lot of your favorite shows that went more than say 2 seasons had a rough first season. That happens, and most of them had more than 8 episodes.
Yeah. Anyway, bummer we're not going to get more from that. There is Andor Season 2, the best Star Wars that's ever come out. Love Andor.
New Mandalorian movie.
Uh-huh.
Also, F you to Disney Plus for pulling all the merchandise for Acolyte. From
Yeah,
people
that
who
didn't make
wanted
any
it.
sense.
Yeah.
That is not a classy move.
Nope.
Why? And then you're going to sue Redbubble or something.
I'd probably get some cheap figs. Wait, no, sorry.
Do it.
I haven't gotten any of the Acolyte figs.
Darth Helmet or whatever his name
I don't
was.
want that.
I just want Manny Jacinto.
I'm gonna
Not as
hide.
a
I'm gonna
character.
hide that figure when it becomes available in
Oh.
this house. So, anyway,
How many hidden figures do you have around here?
Not
Just
as
the
many as
movie.
NASA.
Hey.
I knew
Made
there
the
was
same
a joke
joke.
coming from that. But yeah,
Like mine, yeah.
where's the what's her name?
Go
Octavia
what?
Spencer.
Yeah.
Where's she?
Where's she?
I want to
They
take her
haven't-
home.
okay. First off, if they made any figure of Octavia Spencer, I probably would have bought
I
it.
don't
by
care
She
now.
needs
what
to be a
property
superhero
it's
at
Just to
some
have
point.
a figure of
It
Octavia
can be
Spencer.
her in Mama, and I would take it home.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh.
Yeah.
Not her finest moment.
No,
but
no.
I thought it was a fun movie.
I did too.
Actually.
Okay. Moving on.
Cat.
Okay, well, what are we going to talk about? We're going to lighten it up with some good news. So, there's a show. You're going to have to bleep this or something.
Yeah.
It's called, I'm going to say what it wants to be called. Kevin Can Go Fuck Himself. That's what they want the show to be called, right? And it was on AMC. And now it's available on Netflix. If you were a fan of Schitt's Creek and you have ever used any of those, ew, David, GIFs anywhere, that is the star of this show. And why I'm talking about it tonight is because you should watch it. We're kind of on a kick of people aren't taking enough chances, right? Like companies aren't taking enough chances. This show is an experimental thriller style where it's a woman who realizes that she's in a sitcom. She's in a garbage sitcom with her husband, Kevin, who's just the worst, just kind of subtly putting her down and talking about her nagging and all this all the time. And she's in this sitcom whenever he's on screen.
She's the butt of the joke.
Yes.
Every time. But the second he's not in the room, the filming style changes. It's not like this 4-camera, bright light, on stage look. It changes, and she's in a whole different world where she has to deal with the ramifications of his BS. She grows to not love him that much anymore. This is a crazy
What's
show.
this on again? Netflix?
It's on Netflix
Yeah.
now. 2 seasons of it.
Interesting.
It is super interesting. It is super experimental. It's not, it was billed as a comedy.
It's unique.
It's not the easiest thing to pick up because
Yep.
there's a lot of themes and it's not exactly a comedy, but it's so good.
And you do get whiplash. Because, yeah, it goes from Everybody Loves Raymond to, Shameless. Filming
Oh,
styles.
wow.
It 180s.
Oh.
There's a laugh track
7 times
when
per
she's
episode.
on camera
Yeah.
and it goes away when she's not.
Okay.
Yeah, when he leaves. Yeah.
There was this moment, and I won't go any deeper into it, than a moment where she does something that's not sitcom-y enough and it changes the style because they can't be on screen if she's hitting people over the head with a bottle. And they're doing a new thing. And if you already have Netflix, you should check the show out.
I am definitely interested on this description of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
As a filmmaker, like, I like this. We need more stuff that's a little harder to immediately understand, but has depth and is going a place. So check out Kevin Can Go Fuck Himself on Netflix.
AMC put several of their shows on Netflix, and I had cramps this week, and so I watched the Interview with the Vampire. AMC also put the first season on Netflix. It also kind of slaps.
If you loved the book and were a little let down by the movie, it sounds like she watched it. She hasn't read the book, saw the movie.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it, read the book, saw the movie. It sounds like it's a return to the perspective, sex, art, like, themes of the book that got flattened and condensed in the movie, and I'm excited to check it out.
They also very purposefully cast a black man as Louis. And so the difference between Lestat and Louis is stark in the way that they are treated,
Especially through
because
time.
of his ethnicity. The TV show starts in 1910 in New Orleans. And so, like, the difference between how they're treated.
Was there a gap then?
Boy.
Is there a gap now?
It's really, really interesting.
Can you imagine being a black vampire doing like Jim Crow? Just white people disappearing.
I mean, if I were Louis, that's exactly
Yes.
what I would do.
It's really interesting.
Like, how do you even survive?
I'm gonna come see
when
you at night.
Everybody already looks too intently your direction.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's just you just basically take out a book like, what was your name again?
Exactly. Exactly. And they deal with that.
See you around.
They
They've
deal with
got the
Some of
other
the-
Elliot Gould, who's not Elliot Gould,
It's the guy from Succession.
but he
He was
presents
amazing.
like him.
The reporter. He's
I'm,
great.
but still, this Kevin show, I'm kind of
Yeah,
I'm kind of
absolutely.
interested in
Kevin
that.
himself is so much fun.
Most times we ever use the F-bomb in a segment. And
Yeah.
Oh,
And
they
it's
have so much fun with this. In the first season, it starts out with like 3 letters covered in an F, and then it scrolls over 1 letter at a time so they could get around. They never show the full fuck all at once. And the second season, it's like mutilated. This is just in the titles. The rest of the word is mutilated and kind of like obscured by some blood
I
splashes.
appreciate
and
that
stuff.
kind of-
That's
Like,
awesome.
I love. She and I
You
both
know I like a
love
censorship joke.
a censor joke, and they play with that right from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch. I'm in season 2, episode 1. Check it out.
I need to be able to watch things at the same time. Anyway, all right, Cora.
All right. This story literally made me like almost jump out of my chair at work. It did make me completely stop working and have a 20-minute conversation. Tim Curry is back in acting.
Yes.
I
And-
don't know this
Yes.
story.
So it was announced this week, and I think it's fascinating that it was announced this week because the movie that he is in released yesterday in theaters, and that is the movie Stream. He is in the movie Stream. I have a synopsis for the film here. I don't know who he's playing. The cast list does not have which character he is playing, but Roy Keenan has been making his work a priority rather than his family. He, his wife Elaine, and their children go to a remote hotel for a weekend, attempting to have a vacation like one that they remember. 4 killers disturb their stay, and Roy must act to protect his family.
He's got to be the dad, right?
No, he is not. He is not a main character. It does not
So
look
it's gonna be
like.
killers.
But still,
No,
This
one of
would be
the
amazing.
killers are labeled as player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4,
and he's
and
not one of
and he's
those.
not one of them. Legitimately, like looking at the
cast.
the
list.
cast list, he's at the bottom of the cast list with no name on it.
Cameo status.
it just
probably.
Yeah.
it warms my
Also,
heart,
Bill
though.
Moseley as well.
Oh, nice. I like Bill Moseley.
Yes,
Yeah.
so they're the only Bill Moseley and Tim Curry are the only 2 that don't have a name attached to their characters. So it's probably a cameo, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Perfectly
Also-
fine with.
Met Bill Moseley at a con one time and got his autograph and everything. You talk about just someone who is so nice and humble and opposite of the characters he plays.
Yeah.
But back to Tim Curry. I'm just happy.
Like,
This
okay.
just brings me a joy. When I saw I'll admit, when I saw his picture on Core Stories, I was like, no. Like,
I would have
Yeah.
given a warning first.
Quick survey. When did you fall in love with Tim Curry? What
The
role?
1996 Three Musketeers.
Same. You?
mainly hearing his voice on cartoons, I would watch.
Yeah.
Fair.
Fair.
Cora?
Hexus from Fern Gully.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
Tim Curry is an incredible presence every
Yeah.
time he's there. He sold the whole Cardinal Richelieu arc, which is wildly different from the book, The Three Musketeers, but also Brennan Lee Mulligan from Dropout, the
Oh, yeah,
dungeon
I've heard
master
his-
from Dropout, got his role on the cast partially because of his Tim Curry impression he did for Tim Curry advertising for a pizza venue, where he's like, hot, crisp crust!
Yeah.
But better. And Sam
Yeah.
Rush was like, we need him.
Yeah, I've heard his impression because they had him doing like a Hot Topic commercial for the
Yes!
show, and it's so good. I was taken like
He's got his vocality, like, and his presence, like,
yeah.
it's so good.
One place not destroyed by capitalism.
I think he's definitely one of those
Space.
people, like, as someone that
Space.
grew up watching a lot of animation and learning about voice actors,
Yeah.
he was probably my most recognizable. Next to, like, Mel Blanc back in the day.
Yeah.
And Brian
But you
Blessed.
would hear
Yeah.
Tim Curry voice a character, and you would know that's Tim Curry. And it was one of those things, I knew the voice before I knew the man behind
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So once I found out who it was, oh, he's voiced like every villainous character that I grew up with. So yeah, he was definitely one of those people that I knew the sound of him before I knew exactly who he was. And I think it was Legendary, which I think was the first thing I saw him in.
Yeah.
What I find funny is I watched Mighty Max, where he was the villain.
Mm.
I watched Fern Gully, where he's the villain. And I watched Home Alone 2, where he's kind of the villain. And I never once, because my brain is small, connected that they were the same person, but they sounded so similar. And it wasn't until I was in high school and fell in love with him from something live action I saw. I can't even remember what specifically. And I went down his like list, and I just
Was
went.
it Clue?
It was Clue. It was Clue.
Somehow
I
I
know
knew,
you.
He's
as
amazing
much
in
as you've
Clue.
talked about Clue,
Yeah.
and as much as a driving force he was in that movie, I was kind of shocked she hadn't said it by now.
Yeah.
Because I saw
I
Fern Gully
expected
first.
it to be one of your introductions. Like, I was a little young for Rocky Horror. I've seen it as I've gotten older, and I love his performance in that, but it's not how I knew him.
Yeah.
And we've talked
But
about
Clue
great voice actors, but man, the body of his work in animation is up there.
It's incredible.
So
There's
this is
a lot
awesome.
of you
I
out
just,
there
I'm
who
happy for this.
Probably, on some level, know it's Tim Curry, but haven't connected him.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen Fern Gully, like, once, decades ago. I didn't recall that, but I remembered that the bad guy was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his song in that movie still good, still great.
Oh,
So,
amazing.
yeah, we're all just have to stop the show for 20
Stands.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he did have a stroke in 2012, and he is wheelchair bound. I'm sure that will like hinder some of his performance and why he's probably more of a cameo. But he's done a lot of healing with it. He said his humor has been a big part of that, which I appreciate. I have a quote. It's not hard to maintain. It's in my DNA.
Oh.
Good
Yeah,
quote.
that makes
Good
sense.
quote.
If you're born with Tim Curry's face and Tim Curry's voice, you have to have a sense of humor to be an actor with
Yeah.
that. Like, he leaned into it in the best way, and I'm super happy for him. Hope he does exactly as much is good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My big thing is like do as much as you want as long as you actually can and are not pushing yourself.
Yeah.
Also, one thing we did forget, he was in the original cast for Spam-A-Lot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He just fits
He's amazing.
Yeah. He
in
was
Monty
king of it.
Python.
He really
Like,
He seamlessly.
he's the American Eddie Izzard, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And I know Eddie Izzard wasn't Monty Python, but just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's the American Eddie Izzard.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Down to the gender is sometimes thing.
Fluidity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
extreme fluidity.
Yeah, just like, oh, we're gonna play with that.
I'm
That
a girl
sounds like fun.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, so yay, Tim Curry's in a horror movie. This
Love it.
movie is in theaters. It's pretty limited though. Like, our local theaters have it, but one time.
Yeah.
Like, I was checking it to see the closest theater for us, 9:55. That is the only showing they have
Rough.
for this movie.
No.
It was a movie funded through like Indiegogo, so like
Yeah. That makes
it is a crowdfunded movie. That's not surprising. The director for the movie is the same director that did the Terrifier movies. So I'm
Oh, wow.
I'm a little nervous to see it because
They're
like
scary.
well,
And
no.
a lot.
I don't find Terrifier scary so much as I find it disgusting.
Yeah.
I am disgusting in creative ways because
Schlocky.
yeah, I am impressed with the ways that they decided to kill the characters. I appreciate that creativity and the effects that go into making those because they did practical effects.
Yeah.
Aside from that, disgusting. I watched someone else tell me about the Terrifier movie.
I've seen the first one.
I fucking love gory practical special effects. And
Yeah.
I don't think I appreciate them as a fan, which feels different. I think I mostly
Yeah.
appreciate them as a filmmaker, but I've found new love in being a DM and describing
Yeah.
gross stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
Cutting a girl with a chainsaw from
just up the middle.
up. Yeah, up the middle.
a word
No.
that I don't think we've shown. We said
Yeah,
on
I
the
don't.
show,
I'm not
like,
gonna say.
And
punch.
see-
Yeah.
That's the one that I found the most interesting practical effects
Yeah.
wise because that was the big one practical. But
I have to disseminate
Yeah.
them and take them apart. I can't
Like, we
watch
can't
certain
say
that
in
horror
this
movies.
context.
yeah,
You
but
can't say disseminate in this
Yeah.
context.
No, I
Any-
do that on my own time. Thank you.
anyway, I wanted to throw that caveat out there just in case because again,
For sure.
I don't know what this movie is going to be.
Yeah.
It is a slasher film, so there is the potential, but I don't think it's going to get as bad as Terrifier.
Yeah.
If you're
But no, the
body
director goes hard.
horror
Yeah.
phobic, like
Yeah.
approach it with caution.
And
For sure.
please understand that I say I don't think. I'm not saying for certain that it's going to be.
For sure.
Know your triggers,
less.
look them up.
Like, since this will be its first weekend, maybe like check some reviews before going to see it if you're worried about it being a problem.
Yeah.
But for now, why don't we kick it over to Jason?
Oh, before I get into my story, I was doing something on my phone though. That arcade-hop.com is now forwarding to arcadehop.net. You're welcome, Tech Force.
Hey, oh.
I got the domain like I was like, oh crap, I need to do something here. I'm going to call them up and let them know later. But anyway, so moving on. One of my favorite things in 2013 was the movie Pacific Rim. Because give me giant robots and giant monsters fighting. I will pay you all of the monies that you need
Shut
for
up and
me
take
to
my
watch
money.
this. I remember being in a theater and seeing the trailer with my good friend Cora over here, and us just watching a giant robot dragging a tanker down the road to mollywop a monster, and that was the moment where I was like, yeah. Every bit of cash will go that I have to this. Now, granted, the first one, masterpiece. Loved it. I don't need much. Put some people in a giant robot suit to fight some monsters. The second one,
The second one also happened.
yeah, it happened. But also, if you think about it, Pacific Rim has also seen some success with a Netflix series, Into the Black, which was an animated version. Also, they've been doing a lot of good stuff in the comics realm. So now we have the announcement of a prequel to the Pacific Rim universe showing the formation of the Jaegers. This series was announced by Variety. Legendary and Shadow and Bone will be coming together to make this TV franchise happen. I'm hoping. So we are thrilled to launch our partnership with Eric Chronology and Carmen, co-founder of the production company Chronology, with a new entry in the epic, globally popular Pacific Rim universe. This was a statement by Jason Clodfelter, the president, the president of Legendary Television. We are certain their vision will make for an enthralling expansion to Legendary's beloved franchise. So this is the first TV deal this Chronology company has worked on, to which I'm very hopeful because We've seen a lot of success with giant monster movies right now with Godzilla, the Monarch series that's now on Apple TV, which is very good.
The Ultraman movie.
The Ultraman movie. Kaijus are doing very well right now. So definitely this is a strike while the iron is hot moment. But Pacific Rim is one of those things where I was so hopeful for the second one because you established a really good universe. The effects were good. You gave us just enough of the robots and monsters to keep us involved. Yeah, I don't like the people sometimes. Screw those people. But I needed them to pilot the mechas. So there we go. We can have them.
I mean, just piloting the mechas is kind of the traditional way that we do this. Like, we don't have to like the people.
But also, you had
looking at you, Evangelion.
You had a really good cast with. Actually, you had a really good cast, like with John Boyega, and the second one just it missed the mark. They really did. Just it did. What the hell? Stick with Idris Elba, giving the hoorah speech. Idris Elba, let's face it, while we have the stars of the movie, Idris Elba was awesome in that movie.
Idris Elba was awesome. It is very slightly wild to me that you say you don't care about... You don't care about the people in the first one?
Oh, no, just collectively I don't care about people.
Because I love, like, Bern Gorman and Charlie Day, I think were
Yes.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
in both of them.
Charlie
Yes.
Day is always
Yeah,
amazing.
they are passable as humans.
Okay, all right.
But I came here to watch giant robots and
That's
giant monsters
absolutely
fight.
fair. I think the characters are really interesting.
It's kind of like -1. I love -1. It actually made me care about these raggedy ass humans. But anyway,
I kind of agree with you in that, like, they're not the center thing. The people aren't the center thing. It's piloting the mechas.
Yeah,
the
for
mechas are the center, and how they get there can be interesting and varied and flawed and whatever. But we're here to see the mechas fight.
and like the first movie was well into the years into the establishment of the Jaeger program, but I think we're going to see like some of the headaches that it took them to make, because they did touch on that, like, yes, people died piloting, it didn't work out so well the first time, So
It's a dangerous job.
It is definitely a dangerous job, but like
also harkens back to
before the
Evangelion.
robots even get moving, these people. So
But they
I
are
think if
children.
they can definitely capture some of that magic of the first one,
Yeah,
with,
for sure.
I mean, you had the voice of what's the video game franchise, Portal.
Yep.
Yeah, that she was perfect as the voice of the Jaeger
Wait,
pilot.
was
Yeah.
she the voice of the AI?
Yes!
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
she was.
The voice of GLaDOS?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Wanted to clarify, because you just said the voice of Portal. There are multiple voices.
My bad. Didn't mean to say it
the
like that.
AI in Portal, and I know the other one's name is like Grubby
But
or something.
just-
I haven't
Yeah.
played the game.
It was definitely
I'm
a movie
familiar
where-
with the story.
But it was definitely a movie where there was like a lot of feel on that one. Like when Gypsy Danger like drops into the water. Dun 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 dun. You got that epic. That was like my wake up music for like the longest time. That shit got me out of bed. Like, yeah, let's go. My son, when he watched the movie, said he was going to grow up to be the pilot for the Gypsy Danger, which was amazing. That lets me know this movie, and then, God, the mark was missed.
And I think like what's interesting, sometimes when a sequel misses the mark, you give up on it. Pacific Rim never
No.
had that vibe.
No.
People were like, I didn't love this. Try again.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. This isn't my
Love the
thing. You
world.
didn't. It's not a good follow up. Try again.
Yeah.
And then they tried again and more success.
Yeah, the Netflix series was very good. I thought
Yeah.
it was. And then I didn't. I remember seeing a couple comics like recently. So they're doing well. Like comics also are seeing a big resurgence right now. Fun fact: the Transformers comic that's currently being done by Skybound is outselling DC and Marvel books.
Really?
Wow.
It's that good. So
Oh.
it's getting a lot of acclaim.
So
a lot
you
of
would
people.
win a bet about that Transformers comic outselling DC. Just
Anyway.
And not have to say ABBA.
So yeah, we've got nothing. This is all pre-development. We don't have any look or anything, but you best believe once I find out some more information about a Pacific Rim series, y'all are gonna know. So excitement, yeah. Dun 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 dun. Sorry,
I'm going to go home and listen to the soundtrack.
I know it's just like I can just see that
I'm gonna
walking.
rewatch the movie. It's
Yeah.
been a minute.
Yeah. Same.
It did make me want to go rewatch the
Yeah.
movie. Anyway, yeah. Cass, back over to you.
So, there's a new trailer for Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, a movie that kind of looks like it's going to slap. Love Adam Driver in pretty much every role I've ever seen him in. There was it was a really interesting trailer. It had reviews of Coppola's former movies, right? So it would say...
What is he famous for?
It would say a triumph of style over substance, and then it would come up Bram Stoker's Dracula, which Coppola directed. Several, a beautiful mess was, I think, Apocalypse Now, and it'd say like Roger Ebert, and a lot of just criticisms of his past movies with absolute triumphs of cinema. There's 3 of them: Godfather, Apocalypse Now, and Bram Stoker's Dracula, all of which Coppola directed. There's only one problem. These reviews weren't real.
Oh, no.
They genuinely had a triumph of style over substance, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Roger Ebert. He never said that about Bram Stoker's Dracula. He did say it about Batman. They are...
So is that wrong about Batman?
They straight up... This is slander. Like, these people never said it. Lionsgate had to print a retraction for a trailer and basically said, we're sorry, we messed up. I have never in my life seen a retraction
Maybe
for
I should
a
have
trailer.
linked that after my FTC story, because that kind of...
No, the Acolyte was too clean.
Anyway, go ahead.
But like,
this is an argument about like whether they could legally belong.
like this is... I'm pretty...
Yeah, but you can't do this!
This is suable. Roger Ebert
Yeah.
is arguably the most famous reviewer in the history of cinema. You cannot say that he said something that he didn't say.
Half of the most
Like,
famous
arguably.
things
Yeah,
in the-
arguably.
the other
This
ones-
is... Yeah. This is absolutely insane. And low-key hilarious.
So, like, I have several thoughts about this. First of all, there are trailers, especially horror trailers, especially, what's his face? David F. Sandberg, that fully puts all these shots that he is not using, that he doesn't plan to use in horror trailers, because otherwise horror trailers give too much away. I understand that trailers are fiction, not necessarily entirely related to the movie. I wanted to see, and I told her this, I wanted to see these fake quotes. All they had to do is reach out. I understand why you want to use Ebert's name. Get Ebert in on it. And say, hey, by the way, we'll promo what you actually say about the movie, good or bad.
Yeah.
Afterwards, after it releases, whatever. I think this is really interesting. And I thought of one other thing. It could be a double bluff. It could be a double bluff. How many people want to see that trailer that wouldn't have cared about it before?
Yeah. I thought, that would be wild. I don't know. The whole thing
that's
is
a long shot.
The whole thing is wild to me. The thing that is kind of hilarious is that Lionsgate apologized to the critics and to Francis Ford Coppola, which means he was probably not involved in this. This is straight up the marketing department. Also, Francis Ford Coppola a little bit can go himself, because there have been some allegations recently. Not of straight up SA, but some inappropriate behavior on set. This is wild, though.
They did definitely owe him personally an apology, though, because he self-funded this movie.
Yeah.
And, like, allegations don't make me automatically say go.
Yeah.
But, like, he self-funded this movie, so if the allegations turn out to be true, we're in a different world.
Yeah.
But if you make something and you pour your own fortune into it, it's like $168 million budget or something, then you owe him an apology if you fuck up its trailer releases. I think this is...
Again, doing something potentially suable.
Potentially.
And, like, I don't know if they will, because they did issue an apology, but, like...
And I don't know if they can, but potentially.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to comment on whether or not it is.
Well, someone would have to pursue it to begin with. But I feel as though there's probably a case to be made somewhere in there.
Yeah. Anyway, Megalopolis hits U.S. theaters on September 27th.
It has not dimmed my enthusiasm to see it.
I really want to see this movie.
The only complaint I had with the trailer is it's kind of messy and crowded. Yeah. Francis Ford Coppola has a proven track record of taking some time.
Yeah.
Sometimes too much time. I can't watch The Godfather. It's too long.
Oh, it's 1,000 years.
Too
yeah.
much time. Sometimes.
Like,
But we'll
it's
take
crazy
time
long.
to lay it all out. In
Yeah.
the original teaser trailer, I saw Giancarlo Esposito for a split second. I was like, nope, all the way on board now.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to see this movie.
I think the only Coppola film I've seen is Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Unfortunate.
I don't know that you would love either Apocalypse Now or The Godfather. I loved them both. They're insanely long and very complicated, and very much of their time, the pacing is very 1970s.
But The Godfather, you can fall asleep for a full half an hour.
And it doesn't matter. But Martin Sheen's, and honestly Marlon Brando's performance in Apocalypse Now and Al Pacino's performance in
Well,
The
see,
Godfather are...
And Marlon Brando's performance of The Godfather, which makes me angry.
See, you had me at Marlon Brando. I really like him as an actor.
Oh, then watch
so.
The
Yeah, he kinda
Godfather and
slaps.
Apocalypse
Yeah,
Now.
and it makes me so mad because he was reading his lines off other actors' chests, but like
Take-
he's so good.
And nobody
And
can
what's The
just
Godfather
praise
or
him.
Apocalypse
In The Godfather.
Now?
In The
Okay.
Godfather. He
In
was-
Apocalypse Now, they had to cover him in shadow because he showed up on set weighing 60 more pounds than they'd agreed to.
Yeah.
But
Like,
in The Godfather, he
it
was
just
too
doesn't
drunk
matter.
to
He was
memorize
drunk
his lines,
and, like-
allegedly.
and he's still so good.
He's
It
so
makes
good
me
while
so
reading his
mad.
lines. But he is good. The
Which-
Godfather is super, super, super duper long, and you
Yeah.
have to be in the mood for an old, long movie. Apocalypse Now, if you're kind of like in the mecha end of the world space kind of
Yeah.
anyway,
I
it
mean,
is long.
Also, one of Lawrence Fishburne's first roles, he was like 15, 16, and lied about his age to get on set.
Because child actor
and he's-
roles are a real thing.
He's also good in it. Yeah, it's a really. I was about to say it's a fun movie. It's not a fun movie, but it is.
But it's
it
a
is
fun
quite
movie.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if it's fun to picture the end of the world, it's fun. You
Yeah,
know, those movies.
Especially Apocalypse Now, very philosophical, and those movies that are like, hey, this is what the Vietnam War was actually about. It was about humanity, and that's very much present in this, and how humanity was stripped away from
If
people.
you ever
Gotcha.
decide to watch The Godfather, then hit us up so that I can make her watch Goodfellas at the same time.
Ugh.
In that they're kind of long slogs
Yeah.
that are very important.
Gotcha.
Anyway, Francis
Hopefully-
Ford Coppola's
Hopefully,
Megalopolis.
Megalopolis is less than 6 hours long. We'll see.
We shall see.
We will see.
That's it.
I'm just gonna start.
Give me that.
No.
No, I need that.
Jason's phone here.
I need that. Give me that. No,
Anyway,
I actually
who's
need that. I was
next?
doing something. You are.
I'm next. Okay.
Give me my phone.
Awesome. I have a list with the stories that I had to talk about.
Give me
We did. Kevin can fuck himself. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of old properties that have value, who here has read The Portrait of Dorian Gray?
I
Oh, yeah.
have.
Nope. I saw.
I was forced
Shitty
to
2009
in
movie.
school.
I fucking love it. It is Oscar Wilde's only novel. It is the story of somebody who was so just bewitched by this young, beautiful, hedonist ways that he painted a portrait of him. And the portrait was of Dorian Gray. And the whole thing with it is that the portrait doesn't age, or the portrait ages in lieu of the human aging. It is one of the earliest bi-representations I've ever seen. And it's kind of a dope read, in my opinion. They, in 2009, made a movie of it.
It was bad.
Don't watch that movie. And now they're making a TV series out of it.
How?
I think that'll work a little better. Maybe.
It could, and I really desperately want to hear why you think that could work. After,
yeah.
I say that, like, please don't make it about selfies. You're studying Dorian Gray in the modern age, and the one-to-one of how you look with Facetune in selfies is just not interesting. We've seen all the future dystopian whatever of like, oh, we're going to go totally to social media and blah, blah, blah. And I'm terrified that your 2024 representation of
Hot
Dorian
take.
Gray is going to be like, oh, but like Facetune makes you look better to people, even if you can't accept it and have sex. Right? I'm so nervous about it. It's one of my favorite classics, and I like kind of weird classics. It's
Yeah.
also one of the rare Gothic novels that we have. Interview with the Vampire apparently is really good.
Yeah.
It's also arguably a Gothic novel.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of these.
We have experienced a couple of, in my opinion, very good modern adaptations of these old works. I know a lot of people don't like him. I like Stephen Moffat's interpretation of Dracula and of Jekyll and Hyde and of Sherlock, and we liked Follow the House of Usher, Mike Flanagan's.
And I like
Again.
all those too.
Yeah, Gothic. I just don't trust this. I don't trust it.
He was
The
really
thing
good in
is-
Leave Extraordinary Gentlemen.
That's what I'm worried about. Okay, so like that's what I'm worried
I
about.
just have to sit
like
on this
I
one.
don't hate watch things, generally speaking. If I don't like it,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
not
waste
gonna
time-
watch
I don't
it.
waste time
I don't
watching
waste
it,
my
no.
time screaming into the abyss about things.
Maybe
If
Tiger
I
King.
like things, even if it's the live action Avatar, I do like them,
Yeah.
even if they're hard to defend sometimes.
Yeah.
If this was just a garbage TV show that came out, but I want it to be good, I want them to do a thing, I want it to be interesting, I want it to be modernized in that it applies somehow, and I'm so nervous they're going to take their first exit towards Facetune and selfies. You said you feel some hope.
Yeah, I feel some hope. Oh, where's the?
I
there it is.
need hope.
Yeah, I have some hope, and I think that just comes from, like, I've seen things like American Gods, which is a really good novel, and they were able to keep the same spirit alive
That is
without
true.
modernizing literally everything about it. But it also was set in a more
It's a
modern
very good
time.
example.
Yeah.
But I feel like whoever is in charge of the project, they could still do a beautiful portrait to be the aging thing, because they do still have to remember what the title is.
Yeah.
Is the portrait.
And I will give you
And-
that like only rich people get portraits painted, and
Yeah.
there's a sense of entitlement about the whole thing. He always had an attic. He always had a safe place that no one would disturb. So a little bit, it's about classism, right?
Yeah.
That is
The-
helpful.
The writer makes me nervous.
Who's the writer?
That's
Of the show,
yeah.
I was like, Oscar Wilde is
Yes.
fantastic writer.
Yeah. It's one of the writers of Supergirl.
But what season? The first season of
Season-
Supergirl
yeah,
was
first season,
super solid.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't know for sure.
Okay.
They brought Callista Flockhart out of the woodwork
Oh.
to be a mean
True.
boss in a way that she'd never been in. Like,
Yeah.
she was good.
Yeah. I genuinely do think in this case the first trailer's going to tell us everything, because if they get the vibes right,
No, we're good.
then we're probably okay.
I love, like, I'm a Gothic heart.
Yeah.
I love Gothic architecture. One of
Yeah.
my dream trips is the Cologne Cathedral. I love
Wow, what a
Edgar
nerd.
Allan Poe. I love Never Bet the Devil Your Head, Picture of Dorian Gray. I love The Tempest by Shakespeare. Like, I love
Tempest slaps.
these old, weird stories.
Yep.
And I really want it to be good.
It makes me nervous.
I will say the only thing I do remember about Portrait of Dorian Gray is it's towards the beginning of the book, and it's the room with all the flowers, because they spent 4 pages describing the flowers.
American Psycho level detailing of,
Yeah,
like,
and
the flowers.
That was fine with me. I was enjoying it because I wanted to be in this room.
This might have the effect that Dune had on me, because Dune the movie was flawed in a lot of ways, but it made me want to read the novel. So I wonder if I'm going to watch the movie or the TV show and be like, this is missing stuff.
It's an afternoon read.
Oh,
It
so I
is
can probably
not
pick it up,
long.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
I
but,
read
like,
Jekyll and Hyde in an
Do
afternoon.
you want to read Interview with the Vampire now? I don't know the answer to that.
It's a lot, isn't it? Crazy long.
No, it's
It's
like
not that long.
400 of the
Oh,
short,
I can do that.
like,
Yeah,
small
it's not
print.
But that's a longer conversation.
Yeah, that's a different
about
conversation.
race and class and
I
adaptation.
don't know if the picture of Dorian, or the portrait of Dorian Gray, can be translated, because part of the whole point is that you can't see it, that
Yeah.
the person isn't real, and that's what I love about Oscar Wilde. He plays with that. He uses the medium of the book to explain this fantastical world.
That version of unreliable narrator is super hard to pull off in film.
But he's also canon bi. Love to see me canon bi. Represent. What do you think, Jason? You've been very quiet.
Besides that whole thing with Dorian Gray and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I got nothing. I see an episode
You
where
never watched the movie with Colin Firth and Ben
I just
Barnes?
see an episode where the painting gets taken and he has to do something to get the painting back, which I'm
yeah.
like, there it is, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, didn't they superheroify?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. When I first read it,
I have zero feelings about this show.
the first time I read it, I was so young that I did not understand that the painter was in love with Dorian Gray. He's in
Okay.
love.
It's
Alright,
getting
it's
far
okay,
too
it's okay,
deep.
it's okay, it's okay.
And we
Yeah,
still
yeah,
have
yeah.
another round to go
That's
through.
spoiler
I'm
longer
gonna say.
conversation.
Alright.
This is first 10 pages.
Yeah, I know.
There's certainly a lot of love for this property, and I hope it
I
works
have
out for you.
strong feelings.
I
about
really hope it
Dorian
works
Gray.
out. Because I have one that I'm going to get to. I have strong feelings
Let's talk about visual weight.
Let's-
Every single kid in the early 2000s, like 90s, early early 2000s that had to read this book for class are going to watch this out of spite. Because they had to read it and analyze it so
No, I'm
deeply
gonna
that they
watch it out of
hated
spite.
it.
Yeah.
I read it not out of spite. I was a nerd.
I mean,
nerd.
That's different,
I
though.
voluntarily read Dante's Inferno in high school. Like, I was a weirdo. As opposed to now when I'm normal.
Yep, so normal.
Quarantine.
How many Dune books and nope.
5.5!
Moving on.
Get to Cora, because we got another round to
Cora.
go through. So.
All right, I'm going to do a complete tone shift
Sure.
now
Oh, no.
to something that Jason was very upset about in the chat. So
Oh no.
Oh, did you guess?
Yeah.
No,
Alright,
My
so
process of elimination.
Go on.
So back in the early 2000s, there was a movie that came out based on a manga called Hentai Kamen.
No.
And it is essentially a teenager who gets superpowers by wearing women's underwear over his face. And honestly, that premise, hysterical. I want to watch this so bad. But unfortunately, up until now, there has not been any way for me to do that. I could watch it in Japanese, but I don't speak Japanese. There's nothing with subtitles that's reliable. But coming out on September 10th, we will have an official Blu-ray with an English sorry, Mike. English subtitles and I believe an English dub as well. And I'm really excited for this.
Allow me to give this. Whatever you're ready.
Okay, yes.
I will give some depth to this character.
Why isn't it? There we go.
Kyosuke is a dom, and
Okay.
his father was a police officer, and so was his mother was a dom. Putting the underwear on awakened the hidden powers, and
That's
since
right, yeah.
hidden powers of the dom mother and his father's sense of justice, and somehow put this into a mismatch of what we have here.
To be fair, he already had the sense of justice. He just didn't have the dom superpowers and fishnets.
I don't need the story. If the show looks like the poster, you don't even have to subtitle it. I don't speak Japanese, but that's a pretty picture.
So when I watched Hentai Kamen,
I mean,
yes,
I question-
I've seen Hentai Kamen.
Of all the Japanese movies for you to have seen,
If you're still watching, Christian showed me Hentai Kamen at our bad movie night.
This is awesome.
Yeah, so he brought a DVD with the subtitles burned in. The only problem was they didn't go away until the end of a scene. So they would just stack up until they reached
old school
the
animation.
until they reached the top of the screen, and then they would just continue, and then they would delete at the end of the scene. So technically, I've seen the movie, but I've seen the movie mostly through the haze of English subtitles. I'm not gonna watch this. No, I'm not gonna watch it again, even if it gets an English dub. It is an absolutely ridiculous movie, and I've already had to sit through it
Do
once.
you know why they did that? Because in old school VHSs, they had to print them on and reshoot it. So they couldn't take
Wild.
them off of the film.
Yeah.
But if you put them on top of the other, they couldn't, and they would use destructive, stickers.
Yeah.
This is a film history that you.
Someone
This is great.
got me this movie in like 2014, and I borrowed it from a friend. Also, the actor, he studied English. He's a bachelor's degree in English studies from the University of Tokyo.
That's amazing. By the way, they made 2 of these. They made
good.
2 films. We only have confirmation for this one, but I'm hoping that we're gonna get the second one as well because the poster is funnier on the second one.
This was popular enough for Figma to make an action figure of this character.
If you get me another action figure in your life, I need it to be.
First off,
you very, very kindly.
they are not cheap. By
Very
the way.
kindly
Yeah,
got
they're
me an Aloy that I absolutely adore.
I had to put up a shelf for her. Just
Yeah, I know.
I love that you gave up your
What?
possibility of getting like a Hollow Knight figure,
Yeah.
and now you're gonna wind up.
No,
with
no, wait, no, I want Hornet. I
You
want a
said
Hornet.
if in your life. So don't get her the Hornet figure
Hold on.
with a
Also-
beautiful aesthetic.
Don't give me a Hollow Knight.
hentai guy.
Don't
that
give
will
me an
tell
Artorias, one of my
every
favorite characters
visitor-
from Dark Souls.
Every visitor to our apartment to let us know that one of us is a pervert who wants a BDSM
That's my other thing.
relationship.
Are they going to name it in English? Is it going to be called Pervert Superhero? Because that is the translation of hentai
See,
comic.
I don't know. They didn't
Hentai
specify.
doesn't mean that in English. It
So
does,
it's like
but it,
iffy. Yeah.
but
So
it
the-
doesn't.
yeah.
So-
it means tentacle
it means
porn.
tentacle, tentacle
also-
porn superhero.
Fun
well,
fact
hold
about this movie. It made $102 million at the box office. Hold up. Wait, in yen. So it's more like 70K.
Amazing.
I'm sorry, more like 700K.
what,
Sorry.
was it, what were you saying?
Yes,
Uh,
700-ish.
Oh no, I forgot what I was gonna
We're
say.
talking
I'm
about
so
underwear,
sorry.
BDSM, box office
Talking about what
returns.
hentai means?
Oh no. Okay, that's what it was. All right. So
ADHD.
sometimes, and especially more now, they will not translate something directly if it's like a superhero name
Yeah.
or something. I saw this with an anime called Star Driver a while back when I was in college. They translated everything except his robot pilot persona, which was the Ginga Bishonen, which is Pretty Boy.
Okay.
Galactic Pretty Boy, that's what it
Yeah.
translates to. But in the subtitles, it would just say Ginga Bishonen.
Okay.
If you're super nerd, you learn the difference between, for English, you learn translate versus transliterate. And there's another third word. If the meaning, like they call Apple
Even-
stores, is called Apple in every language.
Yeah.
They don't translate it
Or
to
like-
their name for the fruit of apple.
Yeah,
Or
they don't.
Anglicize is another option, although not usually for Japanese.
Also-
Yeah.
also
So if
the-
the meaning doesn't transfer, or it's a name or
So
proper noun.
the official translation off of this is abnormal superhero hentai comic.
They're
Also-
not wrong. It's
also-
abnormal.
Figure goes for about 143 on eBay right now. Yeah, they stopped. They made them in 2017. And pretty much were like, we're doing
Yeah.
one run,
And-
and
and
y'all
it
need
was-
to be grateful
I'll
and shut
pitch
up.
in some
And it was
money
the Good
so
Smile
that you
Company, so that
only
was
buy
already
for this
impressive.
ever again.
It's a very articulated figure. It's very nice. It comes with a lot of
That is
little
Oh, yeah,
articulated.
it's,
It goes
uh,
up, does it?
Figma that made the Overwatch figures. That company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
So
good-
all his weapons.
Wait, so Figma
are
also made a
removable.
figure?
they made a hentai comic. Yeah.
Is the
So there's
underwear
two.
removable?
Oh God, there are two.
Yeah, because Good Smile made one. That's the one I found.
Wait, Good
Smile.
Smile's it's the same company.
Is it the same company?
Yes, same
Okay, I
company.
didn't.
Good smile for when he's excited.
Ew.
Oh, also, I do,
Discontinued, not expected to come back in stock.
wow.
If you look on their website.
has nothing to do with Hentai Common, but I realized I have seen a different Coppola movie as well. It was The Outsiders.
Oh,
okay,
I forget
yeah.
about that.
It's the only other one. Anyway,
fair.
Hentai Common. It's gonna be coming September 10th.
Gross.
Oh,
Gross.
Sign your
I
contract.
think I need to call. Anyway, never mind.
Safe space.
Okay. Let me talk.
Take
Let
us
me
home.
somehow.
We're here.
Well, this round takes us home.
Yeah.
This week we got to see a trailer for a new show coming to Amazon. I'm sorry, Prime Video, and it is called Secret Level. This is from the makers of Love, Death, Robots. If one thing on the show I've always said I love anthology series like Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, shows like that. Love, Death, Robots is one of my favorite shows, and to find out this team was now going to be telling the story, anthology style, of 15 popular video game titles. Secret Level will have short stories based off of video game characters. What characters and properties are you talking about? I'm glad you asked. Warhammer 40K, Pac-Man, Concord, a game that's not even out yet, Mega Man, Unreal Tournament, New World, Armored Core, Spelunky, Honor of Kings, PlayStation titles like God of War, Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima,
Hell yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons, The Outer Worlds, Sifu. I'm sorry. Did I somehow not say Mega Man?
Mega Man is so dope.
God.
This trailer blew me away. That's Armored Core that we're watching right there. But that is Mega Man. There were so many moments I'm pausing on this trailer to see everything. They threw Spelunky in there. A 2D side-scrolling friggin' game just out of nowhere. God. Amazon has the money to pay for these licenses to put them in this form. And I gotta admit, from what I'm seeing right now, knowing that it's the team from Love, Death, Robots, it looks fantastic.
It looks so good.
I am very trusting and hopeful going into this series. This is coming December 10th on Prime Video, and I need, I don't know, 6-8 seasons of this show. Understand me, people. Some of you out there have always wanted your video game properties to be displayed in this type of format. The Warhammer community online, as I can read, needs some tranquilizer darts up in there. Them people are going ape. But for me, this is an opportunity, like, well, Cora mentioned it, Suikoden, to see a property on TV. It's a chance for Final Fantasy. It is a chance for Horizon to be seen.
It is a chance, and this is from a marketing / production perspective, to gauge interest.
Yeah.
This could be a jumping off point for who knows how many franchises.
Uncharted Nathan Drake story voiced by Nolan North. Do you hear me, dog?
With a Nathan Drake that looks like Nathan Drake.
Let's just move on from that.
What?
I am.
Not a little twink.
I had to like text Cora right away and put it in our chat. Like, y'all need to see this right now. The future looks very bright here. I'm trying to remain objective. Understand?
You failed.
15 stories is what we're expected to see.
I had one of those like time slows down moments because I was looking at it and like a lot of these properties I'm not crazy familiar with, but I saw a white face with a red stripe down it and time stopped and I was like, oh,
they're gonna do Pac-Man somehow.
Yeah,
which Pac-Man looks like some sort of weird android.
Pac-Man is not a. I was talking about Kratos.
I know that too.
Yeah.
And Kratos is in like New York, it looks like. He's in a city. What is going on here? I must know.
Yeah, I went back and got a screenshot because I was obsessed.
Yeah, I had a collage of some of the things I was most excited for. I'm pretty sure Cora ran it, but I'm just like...
No, I forgot
read
to
the
add
trailer.
it. Because since we added the trailer, I didn't think to
okay,
put
fair
it
enough.
in there.
They were all there. But, Mega Man. Oh, man.
For sure.
Mega Man, I grew up with Mega Man. I love Mega
But
Man.
honestly, this
Mega
was a
Man
natural
XIV
progression.
more than any other game.
This was a natural progression after Nintendo had such success with Super Mario Brothers. Yeah. Of course.
And the success that the Sonic movies had.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And the Knuckles show. We can't forget those.
Which a lot of this stuff's over at Paramount. So they'll probably be very selective with some of the PlayStation licenses. Especially with some of the movie properties like Need for Speed.
And Sega.
And Sega.
Yeah.
So, just get all... How far back can we go?
So, I wanted to say... Cause I was going to say this before the show, but I figured it would be better here. Based on what they were saying in the trailer, which, by the way, go watch the actual trailer, because there is overarching commentary, of course, over it. It's giving, like, a different take on Captain N the Game Master. Because he said,
you took it back, girl.
And it may be because I don't recognize the game that it's from, but when he says, like, your game is waiting, he's handing him a gauntlet.
Yes.
And in Captain N, he had the gauntlet from the
Power Glove.
Thank you. The Power Glove from the NES. So it seems like maybe that's a similar direction they may be taking it. Obviously, Captain N was very different because it was only Nintendo properties.
We
But
actually have an interview on our channel with the voice actor that played Captain N.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
don't know how I
it was
missed that.
surprisingly at Brony Fest. He just happened to be there, and I brought it up. That was his first acting gig.
oh wow,
Yeah. But
Okay.
this show, the potential is so high. The sky is the limit if they can make this work. And I believe they can make this work.
Yeah.
if nothing else, it'll be visually stunning. And you know what? At least we've got that.
What platform?
Prime. Which, who has the money? Like you mentioned, like licenses. How do they get this?
Yeah.
There's some money being shelled out here, and it's Prime.
And they would have had to get some of these licenses already because, yeah.
Do you think this is why one of the reasons the Warhammer show got canceled?
I don't
I
think so. I think they might have backed it up to be like, let's see what kind of buzz we get.
I'm all about what Cass said earlier, gauging interest.
Yeah.
I think if this show is a success, we're probably going to see the next boom of
And
these.
it's
of these
no secret
properties.
that the God of War TV show has been in production hell for a while.
Yeah, like live casting, not with Chris Pratt.
Yeah, we're still able to tell these
That was
short
a joke.
stories, but yeah, December 10th, clear my schedule. I'm down.
See, you can binge watch. You can binge watch all of Secret Level, and then you can go watch the Sonic movie later that month because Sonic 3 is coming out this month, or not this month. Wow, I wish.
Yeah,
This year.
Yeah,
This year.
this is going to be a nice Christmas present for me. So yeah, check out Secret Level. Cass, let's go around the band here.
All right, so this is going to be Kat's favorite story. There's an anime coming about Lord of the Rings.
I'm already researching details on my next story.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
fine.
Called The War of the Rohirrim. Set 184 years, I bet. I think 184, 200-ish years before the Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
This is an anime headlined by Brian Cox, everybody's favorite billionaire asshole from Succession. This actually kind of looks like it slaps. I will remind everybody that this is Warner Brothers, not Amazon. This is not Rings of Power.
Wow, just hold down your bile there, buddy.
We all know.
First off,
We know.
Hear me out.
We know. We're not going to talk about Rings of Power because we're not going to talk about Rings of Power.
Because nobody did.
Because nobody wants to. Don't turn Galadriel into a warrior. That's not the point, but whatever.
We're not talking about
We're
it.
not talking about it. Yeah, this is essentially a war. I don't know a lot of details about this. This, to my knowledge, is not in the Silmarillion. There's some issues with rights, right? So yeah. Warner Brothers has access to, or sorry, is that Warner Brothers? Yeah, Warner Brothers has access to more rights than Amazon, but not all their rights. There's been a lot of different weird things going on because the Tolkien Foundation or the Tolkien family has access to a lot of the rights and is kind of disseminating them. But it looks really good. The animation is absolutely beautiful. Love Brian Cox at all times. This also has what appears to be a fairly traditional Shield Maiden of Rohan. This was a whole thing before the time of Lord of the Rings. There were women that fought, although it seems to be, according to the trailer, in some contention whether she's going to fight or not. Yeah, I'm really interested. I think it's going to be fun. I get skeptical about animated versions of things that are live action. Also, Peter Jackson is working on some things to do with the Silmarillion. He's working on it with Andy Serkis, so there's maybe going to be a TV show called The Silmarillion. It's a little hazy, and sometimes they're like, yes, this is going to happen. Oh, wait, no. And so they back off of it. But I think it's going to be fun. The anime style looks a little bit Berserk, which could be a lot of fun. I don't think it will be nearly as violent as Berserk because...
Why?
Yeah,
nothing
I mean-
ever is.
Because how?
Yeah.
It's there to do it. I'm just saying.
But yeah, basically, the trailer came out. I thought it was interesting to look at. I am skeptical, but I'm really hoping we
There
can
it
get
is.
some good Lord of the Rings content because, oh, the Rings of Power had some issues.
I will say, I will give you an opinion that will give hope, and that is, it is a world with magic and cool fights, and you know what always does that better? Something animated.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Why didn't Peter Jackson do magic and cool fights?
Mm.
He did, Kat. You just didn't like it. This is coming out December 13th, 2024. Again, not on Amazon.
Where?
It's going to be good. Presumably in theaters.
Oh, it's a movie.
It is a movie.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I heard animated. I immediately.
I was
said
thinking like
TV
Max
show.
or something you were going to announce this for. Okay.
No.
Hey, I cannot wait to see the droves of people fighting each other to get into the theater.
I'm looking
for
forward to a
this.
quiet night home.
While I go watch it.
Me and Stitch are gonna hang.
There's no way this is going to be 3.5 hours long. This has been being directed by Kenji Kamiyama, who, for the most part, over the last 10 to 15 years, has been doing Ghost in the Shell content.
Oh, that explains the style. Yep.
Yeah.
And I will admit, Brian Cox is attempting.
Yeah. Also written partially by Phoebe Gittins. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Who helped write, well, fortunately helped write Lord of the Rings. Unfortunately, also helped write The Hobbit. So we got a good and a bad mix there. We're crossing our fingers, holding out hope it's going to be good.
We got nothing
That's
to go
it.
off of yet.
Yeah.
We still got not like anything to go write a review right now.
The
and
trailer looks
say
good.
it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, FTC coming to
That's
get you. Kat, we've come around to the bin.
Okay, so this show is intentionally not a very political show, right? We want to
Yeah.
give you a little bit of a break. We're all we're voters. You should vote, blah, blah, blah. But I have to tell you about a thing that happened the last week and a half. So on August 9th, a New York Times profile came out that showed that Tim Walz, the vice presidential presumed nominee from the Democratic Party, was a Sony Dreamcast addict to the point where his wife had to seize it and hide it from him. This is truly already hysterical to me. On August 19th, however, Charlie Kirk from Toilet Paper USA, or something else, Turning Point, I think, said, a 35-year-old, which he was at the time, who's obsessed with video games, who played video games all the time.
Huh?
Oh, is this weird? I don't know if you guys know this. Gaming is the most profitable of the entertainment sectors across the U.S. There are more 35-year-old gamers than there are movie buffs. And the gamers had quite a lot to say about it. They were like, so you were really bad at video games.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk got thoroughly roasted for this. And like, he was a 35-year-old gamer. That's kind of dope. It turns out the game he was obsessed with, Crazy Taxi. Obsessed with Crazy Taxi. Could not put it down.
You know what? You know what? You know what? Fair. I love Crazy Taxi.
I am a gamer nearing 35. Like, this
Me
this
too.
is
You know
not
what? I'm sorry.
not
No, I
weird.
just realized something, and this is shocking to me. Apparently, Charlie Kirk is just 30 years old. Like,
Oh.
Charlie Kirk, the man who looks like they took his eyes and his face and shrunk it within his head, is
definitely
like,
the scaler was off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gaming is
Maybe that's
too
why.
We're not
weird.
blaming the programmers. It's just something that happens.
We're not, although somebody pointed out that his face looks a lot like a Dreamcast. Anyway, his features are too
But
small
also,
within the
this
big context.
this dude, oh my god.
His wife had to seize it from him.
That's
this
adorable,
is the most
honestly.
Same.
hashtag relatable. I was obsessed. It was Overwatch for 2 years to the point where I could not be pulled to do anything social. This
Also-
is the most normal thing I've ever heard. If you want to call it weird, sure, we're weirdos, but there's a lot of us. This just endeared this weird freaking Midwest dad vibe that he has to me, and I'm like, your wife took it, and she probably should. And also, she might have taken it to her own game room to play a game she wanted to play.
Also,
Who
we
knows?
clearly recognize quality because it is about time that we give Dreamcast their flowers. Dreamcast was a really good system. And
Sony-
unfortunately, it just did not take off like others did. But in a different world, Dreamcast could have eclipsed the PlayStation.
And like Sony, like has always taken, or that was Sega. Sega, we couldn't have both. That was the only reason
you
we
definitely
didn't have Sega
were only
system.
getting one around that time.
Yeah.
Like, and we had to save up and combine all our allowances to get anything. And Sony wasn't even there, but I think of Sega as the natural predecessor to Sony. Because when...
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, because when Sony came out, they were the slightly less popular for a long time game system than, like, the Microsoft and Nintendo systems. And just, like, it's just endearing to me to hear that other insanely popular and successful people have had these runs with video games.
But a lot of us came up in the Nintendo generation with Game Boy and then, of course, Genesis, moving to the Super Nintendo. We all kind of came up in that. Charlie Kirk's about 30, so you were alive and well, not growing into your head, during the PlayStation era.
Yeah.
The PlayStation home system. So...
And he was still like, no,
it's
Dreamcast.
kind of like y'all said, you know what? Parents didn't let them have video games.
That's what it was.
That's
probably.
what happened.
Like, you're going to study.
Those are going to rot your brain
They're going to
in that big old head of yours.
Like, we had very conservative parents, but still, like, somebody from our church bought Kevin a Nintendo, and we were kind of all sold.
Yes. I don't think that's
He
it.
didn't, but I guess he just didn't understand how, like you said, how relatable that just made us all to this potential political candidate.
But they want so badly.
They're looking for
They
something.
just want to be able to return it.
Also, this
and
man,
they just can't.
this
because
man
they're so
is
weird.
He's a veteran, former teacher, principal,
Coach.
Yeah, he has spare time on his hands, and it's well occupied by video games. Okay.
His school also pushed him in the 90s, by the way, to be the sponsor for his school's Gay Straight Alliance.
Which, and again, we don't want to get too political, mostly to give you a break. Mostly to give you a break.
Yeah.
We don't think that's what you're here for. But like, just somebody who stands up and was like, at 35, and apparently maybe not before that, found a love for video games, found a way to blow off some steam. Like, sorry guys, the video game generation is here. We've been here, and now you see us. Kind of like girls who are nerds. We've been here. The D&D nerds have been. Yeah, like, we're here, and you can call us weird, but you know what? We grew an immunity to being called weird in late middle school, usually.
Yeah.
And we're good.
We're used to being the weird.
This is
Now
super
y'all get used
cool
to it.
nerd show. We don't deny that we're super weird.
Yeah, good luck finding this to like get us to like oh my god, he's a video game.
Everything they bring
Clutch my
about
pearls.
him that has any kind of truth just makes me like him better. Anyway, that's my video game story.
Cute.
Tim Walz loved Crazy Taxi. Maybe he plays something a little more sparingly now.
And the
Probably
superior.
not Dark Souls, but you know.
We don't talk about
Dark
that.
Souls would be hard.
Cora, take us home, please.
Alrighty. So, back in January of last year, so 2003, as of the time of this recording, Togashi, creator for Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho, had to take a hiatus due to his health and could no longer create and write, draw, whatever, anything for Hunter x Hunter. Well, it has been announced he's coming back. He is going to be starting back up on, let me see here, the October 7th issue of Weekly Shonen Jump. He will be back. He will not be on a weekly schedule because, because of his health. They want to make sure that they do not overwork him. They've worked out some kind of schedule. What that schedule is, I'm not certain. But we've been getting updates periodically about about the work he's been doing, everything like that. And it's just nice to see. He's been one of my favorite creators since I was in, I think middle school, maybe even elementary school. because I really did watch Yu Yu Hakusho way before I was supposed to.
Cool.
But I started reading the manga in Shonen Jump because I had so many of them. And and also Hunter x Hunter. I'm a huge fan of that one as well. It's just nice to see. And I hope you also enjoyed a picture of young Togashi in his bachelor pad before he got married.
Personal choice.
To the lovely lady who creates Sailor Moon.
It's not my favorite picture of the evening, but
It is nice that they you can kind of end on this, because a lot of creators like in this, they could easily walk away. Their legacies are intact.
Yeah.
You can't take away what they did, and they can retire. You know,
Tim
for him,
Curry.
it was more of Tim Curry is a perfect example. He just needed this break, but you know, you also get those artists where you know that itch is just there.
Yeah.
It's
And
waiting for when they can come back, and it's good to see him back.
Yeah, and he's been, after he had recovery time, he was also obviously still working on the comic. People were talking about how on Twitter he's been posting updates and things like that. But he's not under a deadline, which stress does cause a lot of health issues. And it's always seen in the anime and manga industry, very specifically the manga industry. We don't talk about a lot of this manga's coming off hiatus now. Mostly because we would literally have we would have several stories like that every single week. I'm bringing this one up because this is one, it's been a long hiatus, and two, it's been one that's been very highly anticipated. If we had been doing our show when Sayuki came off hiatus, would have jumped on that. Sayuki was in hiatus for 4 years because the mangaka had to have major surgery and then got in a car accident. And it was a shocker. We got the end of that.
And that's just something that, we support. All of us have been creators. We take a break around Christmas. You need a break sometimes.
Yeah.
So we support people having a break and returning when they're able in the capacity on the
Recharge,
schedule.
keep the creative
we're
juices
able.
going.
yeah.
But especially
you don't have to do it all the time. You need a little time to miss it.
and there are some expectations with a creator of this level, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, and it would be hard for a lot of fans to see him, you know, walk away just, I'm done, I'm gonna retire. But
Do you, King?
man came back.
Yep. And
Please don't overwork yourself. Just be good to yourself.
please don't
Please.
overwork yourself. If I had to guess, it'd probably be like a once a month update. It's usually that just seems like a correct.
Good for him. I'm glad he
Chapter.
was given the time to miss it and want to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, well, his wife actually has how the story ends, just in case, because he's not better. He's still sick.
That's such a cool safeguard.
Yeah.
She's got the
giving
bucket
over.
kiss.
Hey, George. Hey, Mr. Martin.
Oh, no.
Hey, sorry. Hey, George. Maybe, just maybe do that. I love you so much, but yeah, you're in your 70s. Maybe do that.
Cast Simulacrum and have that guy finish it. Finish it.
Please don't call George R. R. Martin out on this show. I don't need him showing up.
George?
You know what?
Just show up at this
we
door.
don't
I'm
need
just-
him. He
Just-
doesn't scare me
I
physically.
traced the IP. Where is she?
You know, it is important to note, Togashi is only 58 years old.
Oh,
So
He's
he's
a little baby.
he's not as old as would be expected.
That's George.
But it
He
is
already has
also
backup plan.
important to note that he was sick enough that he had to take a year-long hiatus from drawing.
Oof. Yeah.
And he couldn't, he was I think someone mentioned he'd been bedridden part of that. So, and we don't know what it's with. That has not been disclosed.
And it's none of our business.
And it's none
For
of
sure,
our
yeah.
business. I want to know for curiosity's sake because I worry about people.
Yeah.
But it's not my business. And it does scare me a little bit that he felt the need to be like, hey, wife, my beautiful, loving wife, here is what I want, how I want the story to go and end.
It scares me a little bit, but at the same time, what a love letter to your fans.
Yeah.
To
We're
be
gonna-
like,
we're
no
gonna get to
matter
the end.
what,
Yeah, we will get to the
there's
end.
a plan. Even if what happens to him is he just can't do it as a creator for this property anymore, which is
Yeah.
fully
Yeah.
a thing that can happen. but a love letter to be like, you guys deserve to know how it ends, and I want you to know how I plan the ending. That's just so meaningful to me.
Hey, George. I'm done.
Do you really want him showing up here? Like, taking me
No, I
hostage?
want him to.
and then,
I
like,
want him to
He
finish.
can
I want him
take
to
you.
tell
Are you
somebody how his
saying
George
George
book
R. R.
ends.
Martin?
And like,
Probably.
if Brandon
Or something
Sanderson
else.
has to
Hires
take
people.
over, that's fine. But he needs notes.
Next, y'all are getting videos of me like strapped to a chair, and George R. R. Martin's like, "Show yourself, or else you're gonna get his finger next."
I mean, if we're being honest, we have George R. R. Martin standing next to you, standing next to a henchman that has something to your
Like,
throat.
that's what he does have
Because
the
he's like
resources
1,000%.
for.
He's so old.
Okay.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, but good news about. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to check something. Yes. So, to put in perspective,
Revamped.
like the like life expectancy kind of mangaka out
Oh,
there, Miura, who created Berserk, died at 54.
Jinx.
Well, he created Berserk.
He
It just
did- he did
feels
create
like that's
Berserk.
what would
I feel
happen.
like that's just a poison.
Like, putting that out there would take such a toll on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mangaka are do
Again,
not
Brandon Sanderson.
like there are several that live quite long lives. There are exceptions, but there are quite a few, and it's the majority that do not make it long into their 60s.
And to your point,
Like
he deserves
wrestlers.
privacy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He deserves respect. And the fact that he gave an ending he doesn't owe is just so special to me.
Yeah,
I will pull the ripcord. Oh man, that's,
yeah,
It's
but
like a really
beautiful,
nice
but it's
thing to
also
do for
just-
your fans.
to me, it's just like just. I
But-
hate it.
And
But-
he didn't even promise one in a specific year.
Hey,
Several
hey,
times
he
to
said
come
the
out.
book would be done in 2015.
Is it past 2015?
No.
Anyway, it is.
either way, he will be returning. However long that is, it does not matter. He's back and he's creating, and that's just exciting for me as a person who
Sure.
really likes the stuff that he creates
Yeah.
and the worlds that he has.
Be nice to have that feeling.
Hey,
Sorry.
I'm done. I'm
Sorry.
done. I'm
George,
so- I'm
I
sorry,
think
I'm
you
done.
better.
Rule of 3. All right.
I thought it was the rule of 7.
I think it's the rule of 3 is okay. The rule of 7 is hilarious.
Hit you with the rule. Okay. That is our show this week. Yeah, it took a while to get around the bin, but I think overall we're gonna have a lot of stories to post during the week. So yes, make sure you check out the channel, subscribe, like, because we have videos that come out every day now. You're gonna watch them. And of course, make sure you watch this channel for some D&D content coming up in 10 days. It's gonna be great. It's
Let's
gonna
Speaking
be
go.
of
awesome.
creators who are dedicated enough to come back and finish stories that they've planned, I'm so scared. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm hoping to like get a video done before I have to go out of town for work. Ooh, actually, I gotta go out of town on Sunday. So okay, hopefully we'll have all that done. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go check us out on all the social medias at SCNS Live, and of course the website supercoolnerdshow.com. In case you want to follow us personally, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at
You
JasonTheX.
can find me on Instagram at BetterCat.
Mostly on Instagram with a good cast.
Instagram or Twitter at Corodono Art.
I actually said Twitter. I'm not posting on Twitter anymore. You can find me on
Are
Threads.
you posting on X?
I'm still posting her messiness live, but I've taken back my own personal account
Fair.
just not posting over there so much.
Elon Musk can go himself.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
well,
not political. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
I mean, I don't need to be political to know that he's a jackass.
lost
Yeah,
84%
true.
of the wealth of that company. Anyway, yeah, that's it for us. We'll see you next week, and as we always say around here, keep on nerding.
And finish your books, George R. R. Martin.
We'll be back with oranges.
Oranges? Why?